Hey, what's up y'all, it's Charlie. On today's episode I'm going to be showing y'all how to make my delicious seasoned Louisiana style fried chicken gizzards with a homemade dipping sauce from scratch. Now we first start off by taking the chicken gizzards, we clean them, we tenderize them, we season them, and we let them marinate overnight. Then we coat the chicken with a well-seasoned egg and all-purpose flour batter. Then the chicken gizzards are fried in very hot oil for a short period of time until they're nice and tender. And ta-da! And on top of that, we have a homemade dipping sauce to complement that as well. This recipe calls to serve about 2 to 4 people, or you can have it for yourself. It is absolutely delicious. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, here's all what you'll need to make your Louisiana fried chicken gizzards with homemade dipping sauce. Let's get started with our ingredients. You'll need 2.5 pounds of chicken gizzards, and along with that, you're going to need some all-purpose flour, large eggs. You're going to need 3 regular large eggs at room temperature, and 1 boiled egg. You will also need some mayonnaise, Zatarain's creole mustard, sweet relish, honey, vegetable or canola oil, and for your seasonings, you will need some salt, black pepper, Tony Chachere's creole seasoning. Now if you don't have this, you can use the Zatarain's creole seasoning or the Slap Your Mama Cajun seasoning. You will also need some Chef Paul Prud'homme's Poetry Magic, and I have the link to where you can purchase these seasonings in the description box. You will also need some onion powder, garlic powder, smoked paprika, cayenne pepper, and some Zatarain's crab ball. Now it is optional if you want to use the cayenne pepper or the Zatarain's crab ball. And you will also need some dried thyme. And for your tools, you will need a deep fryer or a 4-quart pot. And since I'm using a 4-quart pot, I'm also going to be using a thermometer. You will also need a meat tenderizer tool and a cooling rack with an 11 by 17 inch baking pan underneath it. And there we have it. Alrighty, let's get straight to it. Add our chicken gizzards into this mesh strainer. And I'm going to rinse the chicken gizzards off with cold water. Now I like to do this step to rinse off any blood or particles that might be on the chicken gizzards. And you also don't have to follow this step if you don't want to. I'm going to inspect the chicken gizzards to make sure that everything is good. I don't see that little skin that the chicken gizzards normally have, but here's a little demonstration here. Now as you can see here, you could see that the chicken gizzard is going to have like this yellowish skin sometimes on the back part of the chicken gizzard. So what you do is, if you have nails like how I do, just take that skin and just peel the skin off. Okay. Alright, now I've taken some of the chicken gizzards and I just placed them onto this chopping board. Alright, now here we have our tenderizer tool. I'm going to be using the side with the spikes on it right here. Now I'm going to take the hammer and I'm just going to hit the chicken gizzards on both sides. Like that, as you see here. Alright, we tenderized our chicken gizzards and they're ready to go. I just added them into this medium-sized bowl. Now let's add some seasoning. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of salt, about a half a teaspoon of black pepper, 2 teaspoons of Tony Chachere's creole seasoning, 1 teaspoon of Chef Paul Prud'homme's Poetry Magic, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, a teaspoon of Zatarain's crab ball, 2 tablespoons of Zatarain's creole mustard, and about 1 to 2 teaspoons of dried thyme. I'm going to just take my hands and I'm just going to coat these seasonings onto the chicken gizzards. Now I'm going to cover this. So you're going to place this into your refrigerator for about 2 to 4 hours, or if you're a patient guy like myself, I'm going to let this marinate overnight. Alright, let's get started with our batters. So here in this medium-sized bowl, we have 3 large eggs at room temperature. And we're going to add some seasoning. So I'm going to add about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, about 1/4 teaspoon of Tony Chachere's creole seasoning, a half a teaspoon of onion powder, and a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. And you know what else? I'm gonna just add about 1/8 of a teaspoon of Zatarain's crab ball in there. So, I'm gonna take my whisk and just stir this until combined. Alright, now let's get started with our seasoned all-purpose flour batter. So in this Tupperware, make sure you have a lid as well. I'm going to add 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 1/2 teaspoons of black pepper, 2 teaspoons of Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning, 1 teaspoon of Chef Paul Prudhomme's Poetry Magic, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1 or 2 teaspoons of Zatarain's crab ball, and 1 1/2 teaspoons of dried thyme. Now I'm going to go ahead and give this a quick stir. Now to give you a quick disclaimer, all seasonings are adjustable for the recipe for all batters. Even when you're seasoning your gizzards, if you think it's too much seasoning, you can add less. If you think it's too little, then you add more. But as you can see on the flour here, you can see that seasoning. That's a very good sign of a well-seasoned flour. Now if you don't see no specks of seasoning, then that's a major problem. And somebody gonna end up with some bland chicken as a result. So make sure you pay attention to that. Alright, let's get started with our sauce. So in this medium-sized bowl here I have an egg yolk from the boiled egg that I had. I'm just going to add that in there and just smash that up. Now if you want to add more egg yolks, you can add an additional egg yolk if you like. Alright, next up I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of mayonnaise, 2 teaspoons of Zatarain's Creole mustard, 1 tablespoon of sweet relish, 1 teaspoon of honey, about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, just a light sprinkle, 1/8 of a teaspoon of Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning, 1/8 of a teaspoon of onion powder, 1/8 of a teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of smoked paprika. And I'm going to just take my whisk and just stir all the ingredients together until combined. And from there, our sauce is ready. Preheat your fire to medium heat. If you are using a deep fryer, preheat it to 375 degrees. Alright, let's get started with heating up our oil. So in a medium-sized pot or deep fryer, you're going to add 48 fluid ounces of canola oil. Now if you're using a deep fryer, you want to add the canola oil, the amount of canola oil into your deep fryer according to your instructions on how much oil to add to your deep fryer. So it might be a little bit more than this. Now you're going to let this heat up until it reaches a temperature of 375 degrees. Alright, here is the chicken gizzards. I let it marinate overnight. Now I'll give you a quick tip. After you marinate your chicken, you take it out the refrigerator and you're going to let this chicken come to temperature. You're going to let the chicken gizzards come to temperature for about 45 minutes to an hour. Alright, here we have our batters and our chicken well seasoned and ready to go. Now let's go ahead and get started with frying our chicken gizzards. Alright, now I'm going to take some of the chicken gizzards, add them into the seasoned egg mixture. And we're just going to coat the chicken gizzards with the egg mixture. Just remove them out of there, just give them a quick shake as you want a light coating. And from there, add them into the seasoned all-purpose flour batter. Now I'm going to just cover this. I just shake the Tupperware to coat the chicken gizzards with the seasoned all-purpose flour batter. Alright, let's remove this off. Just take our chicken gizzards, give them a little shake to remove some of that seasoned all-purpose flour batter off as you want a light coating. And from there, you're just going to take them and add the chicken gizzards into the hot oil. Now frying times vary depending on your pot or your deep fryer and the fire setting on your stove. Now be careful not to add too many pieces of the chicken gizzards into the hot oil. You don't want to overcrowd it. Just a little bit at a time. Now you're going to let these fry for about 3 to 6 minutes. Alright, our fried chicken gizzards are done. And as you can see here, they are a nice golden brown color. Look at that. Wait a couple of seconds to let some of the oil drain. And from there, just add them onto the cooling rack. Let this cool for about 5 to 10 minutes before serving. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Fried chicken gizzards with homemade dipping sauce made by a New Orleans native. If you like my channel, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell button if you want to be notified of my videos. Now I have an official website for all of my recipes, including this one. You can go to www.charliethecookandrews.com. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter under the name Charlie the Cook Andrews. Stay tuned as Charlie's Taste Test is coming up next. Can't wait. Now it's time to go ahead and take a bite. I don't know where to start. Gotta start somewhere. I'm gonna just eat it regular. Okay. Now I'm gonna go ahead and dip it into the homemade dipping sauce. Woo! Boy, these damn chicken gizzards is on point. Woo! I mean, they're very tender. It has a nice crunch on the outside. It's tender on the inside. And then on top of that, it's well seasoned. And then that dipping sauce complements it really well. I mean, y'all, it is absolutely delicious. I'm telling y'all, try the recipe. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have a good one. Peace.